So, good morning everyone. We continue with our lecture. In the last class, we started with introduction to inheritance, and then we talked about inheritance, how to create a program using the inheritance. Then we talked about method overriding, and in the last we talked about final methods. So method overriding is quite an important concept, which says that if the child class has the same name, same name of the method and the same signature as of the parent class, then in that case, when we call the method, child class method will be executed, parent class method will not be executed. Alright, then we discussed about how we can prevent the overriding using the final keyword. If we declare a method as a final in the parent class, the child class cannot override the method. If we declare a variable as a final, the value of the variable cannot be changed, and if we declare the class as the final, the class cannot be inherited. Now another important thing to note in case of overriding is that you can always change the access permission of an overridden method. That means you can change the access permission of an overridden method from private in the base class to public in the derived class. That means if you have declared a method as a private in the parent class, you can, when you are doing the method overriding in the child class, you can declare the same method as public, or in any other way that can make the access permission more permissive. So for example, if you have declared a method show in the parent class like private void show, you can declare the same method as public void show in the child class. You can change the permission like from private to public, but you cannot change the permission to make them more restricted in a derived class. You can always change the permission from private to public, but you cannot change the permission from public to private. So for example, let me just recall the example that we did in the last class for the method overriding. Where we created an employee class and the person class. Alright, let me just open the program. So this was the program that we did in the last class. Let me just open these programs where we showed the method overriding. We created an employee class, we created a method show, we created a person class, we created a method show, and then we created a test class. So when I call even.show, person class will be executed. Now what do I mean by more restrictive method? So for example, if I make it over here, private void show, in the parent class, I make the method as private. Sorry, because person is the main class, so let me just correct it. I make the employee as public, same as it is, because person is the parent class, so I make it as private. I make the method as private. In the parent class, which is the person class, I make the method private void show. In the employee class, I make the same method as public. I can do this. In the test class, when I create an object of the child class and call even.show, it will execute, or it will call the method of the employee class, which is the child class and not the parent class. So it's running. Now if I change the permission vice versa, for example in the parent class, I make the method as public, and in the child class, which is employee class, I make the method as private. You cannot do this because employee cannot override show method in person, so it is attempting to assign a weaker access in privileges, which was public. So if a method, while doing the method overriding, if in a parent class you have declared the method as private, you can make the method as public in the child class, but vice versa is not allowed. That means if in the parent class the method is declared as public, you cannot declare the same method as a private in the child class. So that was one of the most important concept in case of the overriding. Let's go ahead now. So going ahead to the next topic. Now we say that in case of inheritance, all the members of the parent class are inherited by the child class. So what about constructors? Are constructors also inherited? The answer is constructors are not inherited. So the only inherited members are the variables and the methods. So constructors of the parent class are not inherited by the child class. So how to, now the question comes, how to call the constructor of the parent class. First of all, let's just quickly go over the constructors. What is a constructor? Let's just quickly refresh it. Now every Java program has a default constructor. That means even if you don't make a constructor of the class, it will call its default constructor. So for example, if you see in these two programs, I have not made a constructor. So by default, every Java program has a default constructor. Now coming to the constructors, when we make a constructor, we can make two types of constructor. You can make a parameterless constructor and you can make a parameterized constructor. So what is parameterless and what is parameterized constructor? If you see the first example here, this is a parameterless constructor. That means the constructor has nothing parameters passed over here. This is a parameterized constructor over here. So constructor in which we pass parameters, that is a parameterized constructor. Now how to call the constructors of the parent class from the child class? We always use a super keyword to call the constructor of the parent class from the child class. So now you can invoke a constructor of the child class within the definition of the derived class constructor. So in the derived class constructor, you can call the parent class constructor. A constructor for the child class uses a constructor from the parent class in a special way. So a constructor for the parent class normally initializes all the data inherited from the parent class. So a constructor for a child class begins with calling or invocation of the constructor for the parent class. So there is a special syntax invoking the parent class constructor, and now we will look into that. Super keyword is used to call the parent class constructor. So now we will look into the program how to call a parent class constructor from the child class. The two types of constructor, one is parameterless constructor and parameterized constructor. How to call a parameterless constructor and how to call a parameterized constructor. So I will just modify those two programs which I did in the last class. Alright. Okay, so let me quickly go over the program. Now I have initialized the values of name and age. Now let me make a constructor over here. I will make a constructor over here. If you just quickly, let's recall, constructor is a special method which has the same name as the name of the class. Constructors do not have a return type. So name is equals to Alia, and age is equals to 20. So this is the use of the constructor. Now I will remove it from here. Alright, let's just check it. Okay, now in the employee class, I will make the employee class constructor also public employee. Alright, so salary is equals to 2000, position is equals to manager. Alright, I will remove this from here, the initialization of the variables. And in the method I will write here super.show, else it will not display any output from the parent class. Alright, now calling a parent class constructor. If I go back to the slides, you have to use the super keyword to call the parent class constructor from the child class. I am first of all taking the example of the parameterless constructor, then I will talk about the parameterized constructor. So this is a parameterless constructor. So here I will write super keyword. This super keyword will call the constructor of the person class, which is the parent class, initialize the value, and after initializing the values, the control will return to the constructor of the child class and then initialize its values. Alright. Okay, so I have the error here. Okay, alright, so the error is here, public. I need to make it public. Alright, let's go to the test class. So the same output is displayed. Now, another important thing to note over here, in case of parameterless constructor, if I don't use this super keyword, my program will not give me an error. In case of parameterless constructor, if you don't use the super keyword, it's fine. But in case of parameterized constructor, if you don't use the super keyword, you will get a compilation error. So let's check. Right, so no error. So in case of parameterless constructor, I repeat it again. In case of parameterless constructor, this super keyword, if you write it or don't write it, will not make a difference. So this is something by default it will call it. But in case of parameterized constructor, if you don't write this super keyword, it will cause an error. Now let's look into the example of the parameterized constructor when we have the parameterized constructor for the parent class and for the child class. I will modify the same program. Alright, now instead of here, I will just pass the two parameters, string n, int h1. Alright, so here I will initialize it. Name is equals to n, age is equals to h1. Alright, so fine. Now here I will do the same thing also. Int salary, string position. Now here I have to pass all the four parameters. Now in case of child class does not have only two variables. Child class has four variables. Two variables of its own and two are the inherited variables which are inherited from the person class. So I will pass the same parameters in the constructor of the employee class. I have to pass the same parameters. Now this must be passed first. So this should be your order. First of all, you will write the parameters of the parent class and then the variable parameters for the child class. Now these two variables, they belong to the parent class. So I will write here super n comma h1. Now I will initialize the variables of the child class. Now if you see, this salary and this salary, they have the same name. This is the global variable, this is the local variable. So I have to use the word this dot salary is equals to salary. This is a concept from your Java 1. This dot position is equals to position. Now the variable on the left hand side, refers to this global variable. Variable on the right hand side refers to the local variable. If you skip the keyword this, it will not initialize any value. So let's check it. Done. Now let's see if I don't use this super keyword, what will happen. I get an error, cannot find the symbol constructor person. So if I don't pass, for example, these parameters here, I forget to pass the parameters here, I don't use the super keyword, so cannot find the symbol constructor parent. So in this case, what I need to do, I need to pass the same parameters which I passed in the parent class, and I need to write this super keyword. Now here, one point to be noted over here. For example, if I put the super keyword over here, let's see what will happen. Right? Cannot find symbol constructor person. Call to super must be the first statement. So this super keyword must always be the first statement in the child class constructor. Alright. So now let me sum up. If a parent class has a parameterless constructor, when you are calling the constructor from the child class, no need for the super keyword. But if a parent class has a parameterized constructor, you need to include the parameters in the child class constructor, and then use the super keyword to call the parent class constructor. And then this super keyword should be the first statement when you are writing the child class constructor. So let's run this program. Alright, now here it will be an error. Why? Because I have made the parameterless constructor, whereas employee class has a parameterized constructor. So I need to pass the 4 parameters over here. So first is name. Let's just pass over here Alia. Age is 20. 4 constructors. Third is salary. Salary is 4,000, and position is manager. Now let's just run it. Because why I did this? Because child class has a parameterized constructor. Okay, let's run it. So it's showing me all the details from the parent class and the child class. So this is how you can call the constructor of the parent class. Now let's look more deeper into the parent class and child class constructors. Let's have more input into it. At the end I will make one more program. Alright, so now coming to the super keyword. What is the purpose of the super keyword? The first use of the super keyword is to invoke the parent class constructor from the child class. So if you see over here, let's quickly do this program. This is a parent class constructor, and we are just printing one line over here. Now this is a child class, extends parent class, that means it's an inheritance. This is a child class parameterless constructor, and just we are printing something over here. Now this is the main method, and we have made the object of the child class. Because we don't have any method, that's why we didn't call any method. So how this program will execute when this statement will be encountered? First of all, the control will initialize the child class constructor. Now when this control will go to the child class constructor, because it is because it is inheritance. So if you see, I haven't written over the super keyword here. By default, when it enters, it will first of all go to the parent class constructor. Now from the parent class constructor, it will print this line. After printing this line, parent class default constructor, the control will come to this line, system.out.println child class default constructor, and then it will exit. So this is how the program will execute. Going on to the next. Now the difference between the previous program and this program is, we have just written the super keyword, whereas in the previous program the super keyword is not mentioned. So if you don't write this this keyword super, it will not be an error in case of parameterless constructor for the parent class. But if it is a parameterized constructor, you don't write the super keyword, it will give you an error. So in this case we will get the same output. Okay, so now going ahead. Another use of the super keyword, which I discussed in the last class also, super keyword is also used to call the variable of the parent class. So super dot variable refers to the variable in the parent class. So let's quickly go over this program. Parent class, it has just one variable and it is initialized to 999. It's an integer. This is a child class. Now parent class and the child class have only one variable and the name is val. Alright, so they have the same variable with the same name. Now child class has a method, so this is just displaying the value of the variable. Now this val will refer to the child class variable and not the parent class variable. Now when we create a main method and when we call this method s.disp, so in this case s.disp will display the value of the variable in the child class and you will get the output 1, 2, 3. Now how to call the variable of the parent class, we can use the super keyword. So here it will display. Now the program is the same, only the difference is over here, super.val. Now this keyword super.val refers to the variable in the parent class. So when we execute this program, we call this method disp. This will display super.val will refer to the val variable in the parent class and it will display the value which is 999 from the parent class variable. So another use of super is to refer to the variable of the parent class. Third use is super.method. In case of method overriding, we want to display the method from the parent class, we use the super keyword. So let's quickly go over this program. This is a parent class. Parent class has a method disp and it is just printing parent class method. This is a child class, inheritance is there. So the parent class and the child class, they have the same method name which is disp and it is printing the child class. Child class has one more method name, show. Now in the method what we are doing, we are calling the method disp. So in the method we are calling the disp method. Inside a method we are just calling another method. Alright, so in the main class we create an object of the child class and we call the show method. So when this show method is called, it will call the disp method. Now disp method, since the parent and the child class, both of them they have the same method, only child class method will be executed because there is no super statement, no super keyword. So this disp will call the child class disp method and will print child class method. Now how to call the parent class method? The only difference is here this statement will call the child class method, super.disp will call the parent class method. So what will be printed when s.show is executed? Control will go to the show method, disp. Now disp method of the parent class will be executed first. It will print child class method. Then the next statement is super.disp. So super.disp will take the control to the disp method of the parent class and will print the parent class method. So now the super keyword, what is the purpose of the super keyword? First is to call the parent class parameter, to call the parent class constructor. Super dot variable is used to access the, is used to call the is used to print the or access the value of the parent class variable. Super dot method, it is used to refer to the method of the parent class. So these are the methods of the these are the uses of the super keyword. Now another program, we have a parent class. Parent class has a disp method. This is a child class. Child class has a show method. Now inside show method, we are calling the disp method. Note here that child class does not have any disp method. So this method will refer to the disp method of the parent class. So when we call s.show will call the disp method of the parent class and it will print parent class method. Alright, we have this keyword and the super keyword. What is the difference? But before we look into it, let me just quickly prepare a program. I will quickly prepare a program to give you more elaborated use of a super keyword for the parameterized constructor. Okay, so quickly we go over it. Empty Java file. What I am doing? I am creating a class Okay, so I am creating a class called room here. Alright, let me just create a class room. Now, the room has length and breadth. So what I am doing over here, I am declaring the two variables, int length and int breadth or width, whatever you can say. Alright, now okay, now I will make a constructor of the room class, public room, and I will just pass the parameters. Let me just pass the parameters int x, int y. I will explain give a program to you at the end showing the usage of this also in a more elaborated form. Alright, so length is equals to x and breadth so this is a constructor of the parent class. Breadth is equals to y. Now let's make a method called area. Public int area. Alright, now I have made a method having the return type. So this should return something. Area, let me just consider the room as rectangle. So return length multiplied by breadth. So that's my parent class. Alright, so let me just go over it again. I have created a classroom, have two variables, both of integer type, length and breadth. Then I have made a constructor and it's a parameterized constructor. Then I have made a method, area method, and the method has a return type integer which is returning the product of length and breadth. Let me make another class inherited from the room class. Let me call it as a bedroom. Alright, so public class bedroom extends room. So it's an inheritance. Now my bedroom class just has one variable, height. Let me make a constructor, public bedroom. Now because the parent class has the parameterized constructor, I need to pass the same parameters over here, else it will be an error. Let me pass the third parameter as z. So x and y belong to the parent class. These are the two variables which are length and breadth. I will use the super keyword, super x comma y. So that means I am referring to length and breadth variables of the parent class. Now height is equals to z. Okay, let's make a method in the child class also. Public int volume. So again it has a return type, but it does not take any parameter. Okay, it returns the product of length, breadth and height. So length, breadth, height. That's it. Now let's make a test class, main class. Let me make it test room. Alright, so what will I do here? No need for constructor here. I'll make an object of the child class. Bedroom B1 is equals to new bedroom. I need to pass 3 parameters of integer type. Let me make it 2, 4, 6. Now let me call the two methods, area and volume. So system.out.println, the area of room is plus b1 dot area. Remember, area is a method of the parent class, which is room class. I will print the volume in another way. That's another way to print a method or call a method, because at this time you should be aware how you can expand your programming skills. So let me just make a variable int vol is equals to, I write here b1 dot volume. So basically what I have done, I have called the volume method of the child class and stored it in a variable volume. This is also a way you can call a method in the main class. Now this statement will not print. It will not print, it will just calculate and store it in the variable vol. So what will I do for printing? System.out.println, the volume is, so what will I do? Plus b1 dot vol. No need for b1, I can just write vol because it's a variable. So what I have done basically over here, I have calculated the volume method and stored it in the variable vol. Now I am printing the value of this variable, which is vol. This is also a way you can do it. So basically now you have to expand your programming skills. So you need to know what are the various ways you can write the lines, you can write the syntax. Alright, so area should be length multiplied by breadth. So 2 multiplied by 4 is 8. Then volume should be 2 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 6. So 4 2s are 8, 8 6 are 48. Volume should be 48. Let's just check it. It's correct or not? So area of the room is 8, volume is 48. So this is how you can call the parameterized constructor of the parent class. This was the program written to show you how you can call the parameterized constructor of the parent class. So moving ahead now. Alright, so moving ahead, I will quickly go over the slides for this and super keyword, and then at the end I'll make a program of my own to explain the concept more better. Alright, so this versus super keyword. This keyword you have learned in your Java 1 in the previous semester. So I will just give you a quick recap for this keyword and how you can play with this keyword. Alright, first of all, let me just go through super keyword. We have just learned that super keyword is used to invoke the constructor of the parent class. Super dot variable name is used to refer to the variable of the parent class. Super dot method name is used to refer to the method of the parent class. So these are the three uses of the super keyword. Now coming to this keyword. This keyword is used to refer the current class instance variable or the global variable. We will have examples for all these usages. Second is, this class can be used to invoke the current class method also. So current class method also we can invoke by using this keyword. This can be used to invoke the current class constructor also. So it can be used to invoke the constructor in the current class also. So for example, in a program you have more than one constructor. This keyword can be used to invoke the constructor of the same class. This can be passed as an argument in the method call. You can use this statement to pass argument to a method call. It can be passed as an argument in the constructor call also. And last thing is, it can be used to return the current class instance from the method. So all these 6 usage we will see one by one with the help of example. So refer to the current class variable, invoking the current class method, current class constructor, pass as an argument in the method call, pass as an argument in the constructor call, and can be used to return the current class instance from the method. So let's go quickly. So alright, now over here let's just check it. What is the problem with this? So this is an example of the first usage, which is the current class instance variable. Alright, so current class instance variable. So now what is the problem with this if we don't use this keyword? I have a class student, I have 3 variables. First is integer type, roll number, then string, name, then float, and the variable name is fee. Then I have created a constructor of this class and I have passed the 3 variables. Now if you see, the name of these local variable is same as the instance variable or the class variable, roll number, name and fee. So I am initializing the variables over here and I have a method to just display the value of these variables. Now what will happen when I create an object? I have created 2 objects of the student class and I have passed the 3 values. First is integer value, which will initialize the roll number. Second is a string value, which is initialize the name. Third is the value fee value, which will initialize the fee. Now when I call the display method and I run this program, the problem here is I get 0, null, 0.0. It is showing me the default values of each data type. The default value of integer type is 0. Default value of string data type is null. Default value of float data type is 0.0. So it is showing me the default values instead of showing me this in the output. Now why this is happening? This is happening because instance variable has the same name as the local variable. So in this case, my constructor fails to recognize out of this which is a local variable and which is the class variable or the instance variable. So the solution to the previous problem is, on the left hand side in the constructor I have to use this keyword. Now on the left hand side, when I use this dot roll number, this dot name, this dot fee, so this specifies that I am referring to the instance variables over here, and on the right hand side this means that this specifies that I am referring to the local variables over here. So now when I run this program, it will give me the output first output will be 111 Asma and 5000, and the second output will be 112 Summer and 6000. So the problem in the previous question was because the class variable and the local variable had the same name, so in that case the constructor failed to recognize which is class variable and which is instance variable. That was the problem. So this is the first usage. The first usage is it is used for the instance variable, especially when instance variable and the local variable have the same name. Now when this keyword is not required, when you don't need this keyword. So for example, in this case I have three variables, roll number, name and fee, which are class variables, and in the constructor I have three variables which are r, n and f. Integer r, roll number is equals to r, so that means this r will be equated to roll number, n for name, f. Here I don't need any this variable because the local variable have a different name than the instance variable or the class variable. So when your local variables, they have a different name from the instance or the class variable, you don't need this keyword. Next is, this is used to invoke the current class method. So current class method. So for example, I have a class A, I have a method M, I have a method N. This is printing something, and now in N what I am doing, I am invoking the method. I have just printed, and this dot M will call this M method. So if I write M followed by brackets or this dot M, it will refer to the current class method. So this dot M will call this method, and in the main class we have created a object of the class and then called the N method. So how the output will be, A dot N. A dot N, this method is called first, hello N will be printed, and then this dot M will call the M method and it will print M. So important point to note over here is this dot method name will call the current class method. That means if you are doing it in the parent class, it will call the parent class method, and in the child class it will call the child class method. It cannot do vice versa, like from child class it cannot call the parent class. So it is used to invoke the current class method. That was the second usage. Third usage is invoke the current class constructor. So for example, if you have more than one constructor in a parent class or in a child or in any class, you can call that constructor also. So for example, if you have over here, so I have a class A, I have a parameterless constructor, I have a parameterized constructor. So when I write this statement inside the constructor, this will call the parameterless constructor of the same class. So this keyword is also used to invoke the current class constructor. So in this case the output will be, for example, A is equals to new A10. That means we are calling the parameterized constructor. This statement will invoke the parameterized constructor. Now when I get inside the constructor, this keyword, it will call the parameterless constructor of this class, print hello A. Then after that it will print the value of x, and the value of x is 10. So this keyword is also used to invoke the current class constructor. So for example, let me just quickly do a simple program, just show you in the same thing. For example, I have over here room, right? If I write here, for example, public room, and then I write here system.out.println, and I write here this is a room class. Alright, and I write over here, sorry, this. So this statement will call the constructor of the parent class. This constructor will be called first and then the values will be initialized. So let's just check it. Okay, I'm going to run this program. So if you see, this is a room class, then area is calculated and then volume is calculated. Why I didn't make it in the parent class? Because the child class has a parameterized constructor. In that case, I have to use the super keyword again. So that's why I didn't include the parameterless constructor in the child class. So this keyword, this is the way how this keyword can be used to call the constructor in the current class. So in the current class I have used to call the parameterless constructor, or you can do vice versa also. But in this case, because it's an inheritance, here it will give an error. So this then you need to pass the parameters over here, right? So this will be a better way over here, since this is an inheritance. Alright, so you can use this keyword to call the current class constructor. So that was another usage. Alright, going ahead. Current class, okay. So the example is over here, which I wanted to show you. Now what we have done in this class, again I have two constructors. Now from the parameterless constructor, I am calling the parameterized constructor, the one that I wanted to show you in the previous class. Because of inheritance I couldn't show it, so this is a simple class. So you can call a parameterized constructor from the default constructor. In this case, what we have done, we have made the object of the object using the default constructor. So when the statement will execute, default constructor will be called. So this 5 means it will call this constructor, and integer x will be initialized to 5. So system.out.println x, it will print 5. Then go to the previous constructor and then it will print hello A. Now the question here is, which constructor will be invoked? If a class has more than one constructor, then which constructor will be invoked? It will depend upon the object type which you have made. So let me just quickly make a program for you, something like this. Okay, okay, let me just make a program, this keyword, this key. Okay, all right, public class this key. So I'm just going to explain you over here that which constructor will be called. If your class has more than one constructor, then which constructor will be called? So it will depend upon the type of object that you make it. Alright, so for example, let's make it public this key, and I just write over here system.out.println. This is a class. This is a default constructor. Okay, now I make a constructor with one parameter, public this key, int x. So system.out.println constructor with one parameter, and then it displays the value of x. Let me make another constructor. public this key int x int y. So I just write over here constructor with two parameters okay, so we print over here system with two parameters, so plus x plus, and we print the second number also y. Let's test it. I have not yet written this keyword. Alright, let me just make an object. Okay, main class. So main this key. Alright, I just remove the constructor here. Now let me just go over here. Okay, so what I do, I will make an object of the default constructor. Maybe I will call from here this x, that means it will call this constructor, and after printing let me just call over here this x comma y. Okay, I will make two objects now. I will make two different times. Okay, let's do it other way. Let me just make it this 5. Okay, this 2 comma 10. All right. So this is an error because this should be always be a first call in the statement. So you always have to make sure this inside a constructor, this should always be a first statement. So what will I do? I will make a object of the default constructor over here. This key a is equals to new this key. So what will happen now? Let's check. Now when I make the default object for the default constructor, the control will go to the default constructor, this 5. It will call the first constructor and make the x as 5. Now the first statement is this 210. This will call the second constructor, make x as 2, y as 10. So now it will print the value of constructor with two parameters, which is 2 and 10. Then it will go to the previous constructor. It will print the value of the constructor with one parameter, and in the last it will print this is a default constructor. So let's just check it. So this is a parameter with two parameters, 2 and 10, one parameter 5, and this is a default constructor. So the value will always depend upon which the object of which constructor you are making. Let's do it otherwise. Let's make an object of this one. All right. So I will remove from here. Let me call over here the default constructor. So inside here I will call the default constructor. Alright, now this will call the default constructor and then it will print it. Okay, from here let me just call over here this 210. Now I will make the object of the second constructor. I will pass only one parameter. Let me just make it 8. Compile this program. Sorry, it should be this. Okay, now I have to make made the object of the first constructor. So when I make the object of the first constructor, I have passed one parameter. That means constructor with one parameter will be invoked, and this is the constructor with one parameter. Now when the control enters over here, this statement is encountered. So now the control will go to the default constructor with no parameters. Inside this, I have a statement this with two parameters. Now the third constructor will be called. So what it will print? It will print the value of the variables 2 and 10. After executing the constructor with two parameters, control will go to the parameterless constructor, and then it will print this is a default constructor. At the end, it will go to the constructor with one parameter, and it will print the value of x, which should be 8. So now let's just check it. So always it will depend upon which constructor has to be executed first. It will depend upon the object of what type of object have you made in the main class. Alright. So constructor with two parameters. This is a default constructor. Constructor with one parameter. So this is how it will be done. Constructor with first of all two parameters, then this is a default constructor, and then constructor with one parameter, because we have made this one. Okay, so going back to the slides again. This is what I explained you, that it will depend upon what type of object have you made. If a class has more than one constructor, is having more than one constructor. All right. Now what is done over here? Same thing. If you see over here, now the same thing is done over here. We have a class student and three variables. We have a constructor which takes all the three parameters and initializes the value. Now in this case, I have another constructor which has 1, 2, 3 and 4 parameters. Now this passing the three variable name will pass the control to, it will call the first constructor of the class, just like I explained you in my own program. In the default constructor, when I used this followed by two variables, it will call the constructor with two parameters. When I used this followed by one variable, it called the constructor with one parameter. So same way, in this student constructor, it will first of all call the student constructor with three variables, and then it will initialize the value of the fee variable. And we have display method which is just printing the value of the variable. So we make two objects over here, S1 and S2. In the first object we just pass three variables. In the second object we just pass all the four variables. So what will happen when we call the S1.display, S2.display? In S1.display there are four, so when we call S1.display, so S1.display will correspond to the first constructor. So in this case the value of fee will be printed as it should be printed as 0.0. Now in case of S2 display, because it has all the four parameters, so it will print all the four things, name, roll number, name, course and fee. Alright. Now so the same error which I have done in the program to show you that it should be the first statement inside the constructor. So call to this must be a first statement inside the constructor. I showed you in the example which I have done just now. Next is to pass as an argument in the method. Now in this case you can also use this keyword to pass as an argument to the method. Now in this case what is done over here, we have a class S2 and we have passed the object of the class as a parameter to the method m, and we have method P. Now in method P, what is done over here? M, that means this method is called, and this is passed as a argument in the method. So when the statement will be encountered, it will invoke the method M, and the value of the parameter will be this, and it will print method is invoked. So this, it is also used as an argument in the method. It is also used to pass as argument in the constructor call. So for example, if you see over here, I have a class B and I have made an object of the class in the constructor. I have passed as an object to the class, so I have initialized this object. Alright, now it is printing object.data, so it is using the data member of the A4 class. Now for example, I have a class A4. I have a variable, integer variable, initialized to value 10. This is the default constructor. Now if you see over here in the constructor call, b.b new b.this statement, what it is doing, it is replacing the argument in the constructor call. Here we have made an object of the class B, and since the class B has a parameterized constructor, so instead of passing something over here, we have passed this variable over here, and then we have called the display method. So how the output will be? A4 a new A4. So it will create an object of the A4 class. Control will pass over here. Now in the constructor, what we have made the object of the B class, and to pass the argument we have used this keyword. So now the constructor of the B class will be invoked. Since it is not doing anything or printing anything, after initializing the variable, it will come to b.display. b.display will just print the value of the data, which is 10. This keyword can be used to return the current class instance also. So you can have return this. It will just display the value of the instance of the current class. So for example, if you have something like we have a class and a.getA is a method, return this. It will return the instance of the current class. So instance, so over here we have what is the syntax for writing it? Return type, method name, and then you have to write the return this keyword. So for example over here, and here what we have created the object of the A class dot get A dot message. So all in one statement, it will create the variable dot get A and dot message. It will print Java. So part 1 has been completed over here. We have covered over here what is inheritance, superclass, subclass, class at the top hierarchy, constructors, how to call the constructors, method overriding, and final method, use of the final keyword. Alright, so more on super keyword. Let me just go make a very simple program showing some of the programmings. Alright, so let me just quickly make a program. I am showing over here the usage of super and the usage of this, all combined in one program. Let me just make a class called super. I call it as a super. Okay, so I just write public class super. And what do I have? I have over here one integer x, and I make a constructor, parameterized constructor. I pass over here integer x. So because class variable and the local variable have the same name, so when I need to initialize the value of the variable, I need to use this keyword. So this x will refer to the class variable, and x on the right hand side will refer to the local variable. Alright, let me just display the value. I have a method called public void display. So what I just print system.out.println, and I just write over here variable of superclass plus x. Variable of superclass, variable x of superclass, to make it more. Let me just compile it. Okay, I have an error here. I make another class now. I call it as sub, which is the subclass of the superclass. Public class sub extends super. So I have two variables. I make int x and y, same variable name as the superclass, right? So now subclass has three variables, two variables x and y of its own and variable x from the superclass. Now let me make the constructor sub int x, int y. First, int x is the variable of the parent class, which is superclass. Rest two are the variables of its own. So because it has a parameterized constructor, the superclass, so I will use the keyword. Let me just use the keyword super. S is small over here. I made the super, S is capital when I made the name of the class. Now this is a reserved word. You cannot make it as a class name, small s. You cannot make this as a class name because this is a reserved keyword. So super and x. If I write capital S, it will be wrong because it will refer to the class name. So super x, it will call the variable of the parent class. This dot x is equals to x, variable of child class. This dot y is equals to y, variable of subclass, right? So it will give me an error. Let me just try to change over here int a. I will do this type of program in later. So this dot a is equals to a. I think it will not give me an error now. I will check it later. Okay. Alright. Now what we do over here, we create the same method, which is same name, public void display. So now we just call over here system.out.println. All right. I will use the same variable as x in another program. Let me just finish with this. So let's just print the variable system.out.print.ln super class x variable, right, which is I will print both the superclass and the subclass. So superclass variable will be printed twice. Plus x, and I just print here system.out.println subclass variable a and y plus a plus and plus y. Okay, let me just compile it. Okay, let me now make main class test sub. So I will create a object of the subclass. Sub s1 is equals to new sub. Let me pass 3 parameters over here, 2, 5, 10, and s1 dot display. Now since parent class and child class, they have the same method name, so it's method overriding. Child class method will be called superclass 2, but it is calling from the subclass. It is not calling the superclass method name, right? Now what if I want to display it? Okay, let me just from its class, all right. So when I write over here super.display, it will display the value of variable of the superclass 2 times now. It will call the superclass display method as well as the subclass display method. So it is calling x from superclass and equating to value 2, and then superclass variable it's also printing again, and then subclass variable. Alright, now what if the subclass and the superclass, they have the same name of the variable as I was trying to do? Alright, so let's just try to do it. Let me just make it as the parameterless constructor. Okay, so let me make it x is equals to 10. So my superclass has a parameterless constructor. Now I come to parameterize. I make a parameterized constructor in the parent class. I guess I haven't done any example of this. Int x comma y. Now parent class has child class has 2 variables, but it also has another variable from the parent class, which is value x. Now integer x is same as in superclass as well as in subclass. I don't need this super keyword now, right? So just x over here, x over here. Yeah, because here. So now what will happen? Displaying the value of the variables x and y. Now I have just super.display. I am not going to display it. Alright. Now x and y. Which value of x should be displayed? Now when I create Now what I have done, I have created a constructor. Now this has the same variable. X variable is defined in the child class also and in the parent class also. So when I call the value of x, which value should be displayed? Now in this case it should be the value of the child class. So let's check it. I will pass only two variables, 5 and 10. Let me just make it over here 8. Okay, this is a superclass variable. X has a value 8, whereas subclass variable has a value 10. Now let's just check it. Subclass variable, right? X. Let me just make it subclass variable. Subclass variable x and y. So if you see, subclass variable x5 is printed over here, superclass variable is not printed. Now if I want to display the superclass variable also, what do I have to write over here? Superclass x variable. So what will I write over here? Super dot x. Alright, now this will display the superclass variable which was 8 originally from the superclass. Alright, let's look at the output. So it's displaying the value from the superclass variable also, which is over here, which is 8, and then it is displaying the subclass value variable which is 5 and 10. So what do we note from here? If a subclass has the same name of the variable as in the parent class, then in that case the value of the child class variable will be displayed. If we want to show the value of the parent class variable, we need to use the super dot variable name. So super dot variable name will refer to the value of the variable of the parent class. Alright. So that was okay. Let me just quickly make some more changes to show you something else. Okay, let me make it same thing, int x, this dot x is equals to x. I roll back. So this is variable of the, let's check what should be the output of this program. I make only one variable over here now, integer y, but I have to pass both. So x belongs to the superclass, super x. Alright, now what I display over here, system dot out dot println and x. No need for this super keyword because x belongs to the superclass only. Subclass variable, I just write y over here and I have only y variable. Alright, now what I do, let me just pass over here 100 and 200. Now let's just check what should be displayed. S1 dot display will take the control to the display method of the child class, not to the parent class. So when I go to the child class, first of all let's take from here, sub S1 is equals to sub 100 200. This will call the constructor of the child class. So x will be 100, y will be 200. Now in this case, super x will call the super class constructor. So x, the value of x variable will be 100 and the value of y variable will be 200. Now s1 dot display, when we go to the display method, it will call the display method of the child class. So it will display these two statements, super class x variable and the value of x will be 100 and subclass y variable and the value of y will be 200. Let's just check it out. So superclass is 100 and subclass is 200. So that was just a very simple program where I just use this keyword and super keyword, and I use the method overriding without using any super dot method name. I could still display the value of the variable of the superclass. So that was all about this chapter for this class. I will be solving the questions from the lab exercises. So thank you so much. Your questions will be welcome in the class in week 2.